Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. Sorry we're late kicking off here. There was, as you know, there was an article in the Mirror this morning, and as a result, we had to clarify a few things before we went on with the press conference. Anyway, we're here today. We've got our show on the 21st of September, which is the first professional boxing they've had at the Copper Box Arena at the Queen Elizabeth Park here in Stratford, and we've got a cracking bill here. Fights that are confirmed are the light middleweight championship of Great Britain between champion Billy Joe Saunders against Islington's John Ryder. We've got Dereck Chisora, who may be fighting for the European title, and we'll know that next week. He has been nominated, he's now the official contender, and we're going to know next week where we are with that, or he will fight a top 10 rated heavyweight. We've got a cracking fight for the Commonwealth and vacant WBO International Super Featherweight title between Liam Walsh and Joe Murray, which is a fight I'm really looking forward to. And Frankie Gavin will defend, the unbeaten Frankie Gavin will defend his British and Commonwealth title on the same bill. And again, we will hope to have that sorted out in the next day or so. We also have the Commonwealth Light Middleweight Championship between Liam Smith and Obadiah Saeed from Accra in Ghana. A vacant Southern Area Super Featherweight title between Mitchell Smith and Scott Moises, and Frank Buglioni and Josh Lever will be making his ABA champion, making his professional debut. As I've said at the previous press conference here, it's a great pleasure to be making to be involved and promoting the first boxing here, which is what it's all about. The Olympic venues being used for other sports, and we talked before what happens as regarding this, any income that comes in from here, some of it gets used in helping other sports, and that is great, and that's what this is all about as far as these venues. And I'm very delighted to be involved. But the fights here, if you look at them, there are a lot of unbeaten fighters fighting each other. You've got Billy Joe Saunders, 18-0, you've got John Ryder, 15-0. You've got Liam Walsh, 14-0, you've got Joe Murray, 14-0. You know, they're two quality fights. I hear all the time we try to stop fighters fighting each other, keeping them apart, keeping perfect records. Well, that's something that I certainly don't do, and it's something that in the past we've managed to achieve in getting the best fighting the best. And these youngsters here are will be involved in some good fights here. Dereck, he had a fabulous performance, I thought, last time out. He was a bit shaky in the first couple of rounds, in as much that I think there was a lot of pressure on him. It was a fight that he couldn't afford to lose. Had he lost that fight, I think he'd really struggled to find his way back into the top echelon of heavyweight boxing. But he's there now. It was a good win. All the controversy about the count and so forth, I think, is ridiculous. At the end of the day, referee stood in front of him. He counted 9 to his fingers. As he rose, it was all over, and he did not complain one bit. He was pleased to be out of there. As far as I'm concerned, Dereck now has to move on, and he is not far away if he keeps winning and fighting for a world title. There's no doubt about it. He would get it, and it's my job to make sure that happens. And as I said, he's got the European to look forward to, or he will fight a top 10 contender. Everybody's here, but before you speak to him, I'd like if Phil Lane wants to say something, which I'm sure he does.
Thanks very much, Frank. Welcome to the Copper Box Arena. It really is a delight to be here with Frank and his team again to announce these fights. As you know, we opened the arena to the public on Saturday for the first time, and we had 10,000 people over the weekend onto the floor of that arena playing sport, and that was fantastic. There were little kids and grandmothers and granddads. They're playing all sorts of different sports and really enjoying what is the true legacy. But we always said this arena would be a multi-purpose arena. It was about community sport, and I think we're delivering on that. But it's also about promoting the very best in sport, the top class, high level sport that we know we can produce in this country. And Frank's announcement of these fights today really does sum up that legacy piece, I think. It's an absolutely fantastic bill. As a boxing fan, I'm really excited by what I see here. It's great to be sat on this top table with some great fighters too. And we think that that mix of community sport and top class events is only going to promote more and more participation of the young people of this country in the sports that we want them to be part of. So we're delighted that GLL is supporting this initiative. We're delighted to welcome Frank and the team here. We have an agreement, as was said previously, for a number of events. So it's going to be a long-term relationship, and I'm sure that that's going to mean that the Copper Box Arena is a true example of a legacy venue that doesn't turn out to be a white elephant.
Frank, you said before the Malik Scott fight that Dereck's credibility was on the line. What do you think that win has done for him?
His credibility is there now. You know, he went out there and done it. I mean, it was a difficult. I know I'm repeating myself. I thought for him it was a really difficult fight mentally. No one wants to fight the guy, and you could see the first couple of rounds he's very slick. He's a good mover, but I just felt that Dereck, with his fitness regime, which he's put into, which Don Charles has done a fabulous job with him. You know, getting that weight off. He's a different man at that weight, and I just thought those couple of rounds it took for him to get a little bit of rust out of his system. I thought he then started rising to his task, and he hunted him down. And at the end of the day, he didn't want to know. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. When fighters don't complain when the referee stops the fights, and you know, to me, he's just a niner. He got up at 9. He could have got up at any time if he wanted to get up when he was on one knee, and he chose not to do that. And the reason he chose not to do it is because this guy broke his heart, and he got caught, he got hurt, and he got hurt a couple of times to the body. So at the end of the day, Dereck, you know, set out on his mission. It was accomplished, and now we're on to the next one.
Dereck, how big a change have you made to your lifestyle?
What do you mean by that? Boxing wise or my everyday living, basically? Basically, we start training at 10 o'clock in the morning. I changed my diet. You know, I got this company called Soulmate Food. It's been great, and you know, my family's been amazing for me. So everything has been going well for the last 2 months of preparation for this fight. You know, after my last fight in Wembley with the guy from Argentina, you know, I looked at myself on telly, and I just turned it off after one round because I knew that was not me in that ring. So I said to myself, I'm going to train more and harder, and that's what I'm doing now.
How many more fights would you like before challenging to the world title?
Hey, listen, you know, everybody's saying here, we're all in the fighting game. You know, we're not like we go to the office every day. You know, if we have to fight every week, I think all of us will take that because we like fighting. And for me, Frank knows me already. I like fighting. So anytime, any day, I don't need to darken around to say I'm gonna fight this guy before I get to the world title fight. If I had to fight for a world title fight right now, yes, I would do it.
Would it be fair to say, Frankie, that likewise you're happier now than you've ever been since turning pro with your lifestyle and the way you've progressed in the last few months?
Oh yeah, I'm like a monk now considering when I first went. pro. Yeah. That's thanks to Tom Chaney, obviously. Everything's changed for me. My lifestyle, now I'm with my family, my 2 kids. Rarely you'll see me out. I'm training harder than I've ever trained. My first few years as a pro, partly my own fault. I didn't do circuits or nothing. Didn't care about strength training. I just thought, I've got skills, I've just got to keep improving on my boxing skills. Then I realised you have to run at certain times, do certain running, do certain weights, do certain strength, do certain dieting, and now it's just all come together now, just saying like Dereck said now. I know I'm in a position now where I'm not far off a world title shot, but if it come knocking at the door tomorrow, I'd jump at it straight away. We
made a £100,000 offer to Kell Brooks to fight him. But as I said, they've got a big name for Kell Brooks for his next fight. Well, it is a big name. It scores about 200 on a Scrabble board, but whether he's a big name as far as British boxing is concerned, you know, Kell Brook and Frankie would have been a fabulous fight. You know, they're the fights the fans want to see. Every offer we make for a fight, they keep getting refused. And I'll tell you why they get refused. And the only people who suffer from that are the fans and the boxers. But we made the offer, it was a written offer, and it was turned down, which is a great shame. But you know what? Frank is, you know, is like Billy Joe. He's an Olympian. They've been there. Just showing up at being at the Olympics, even if you're successful at the Olympics or if you had a good time, that doesn't guarantee you're going to do well as a professional boxer. We've seen that happen with so many different fighters. This is a different game. They're 4.5 years on from the Olympics to both of them. They're both on the cusp of something really big. Bill's got to get past John Ryder. That's going to be a tough fight. On paper, it's a tough fight. 2 undefeated fighters. I obviously fancy my man badly to win this fight, and I'm sure he'll come through. And if he does, we're going to get into some serious fights with him. And Frank, I've got to tell you now, I think, not even 1 or 2 more fights. If we can get the right fights for him, I'd make him. I would make him against Kell Brooks next week if I could make it at the weight next week. And he's a new man. I was quite surprised what he did with Denton Vassell. Again, it was 2 undefeated fighters. He went into that fight against Denton Vassell. A lot of people fancy Vassell may win it, but there was only one man at the races, and that was him.
Billy, can you just talk about this fight with John coming up? It could be one of the domestic fights, if not domestic fight of the year, possibly.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, good, strong, come-forward fighter. I think we're both 2 proud men, so I think none of us won't be running too far in that ring. He's the toughest fight I take to date. I take them all as they come. I was taking O'Sullivan more threat to John, only because I was fighting O'Sullivan first. If I was taking John before O'Sullivan, it'd have been the same. I'd have been taking John more, but now I'm in the ring on the 21st September in this place here with me and John. I think it's going to be one of the fights of the year.
And if you think about it, again, you saw that pressure on fighters to go in against another undefeated fighter, which he did in Sullivan, to go in there knowing that, 8 weeks later, he's due to have the biggest fight of his career. That takes a bit of mental attitude to do that. And I thought his performance was superb on the night. He boxed really well. Best I've seen him box.
And John, what's your view?
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. We both had fights to come through beforehand and we did it. And it's just roll on to the 21st now.
John, are you ready for someone like Billy Joe?
Definitely. I've won the title fight for my last 3 or 4 fights, and I didn't have a Southern area or in English, but the British has come along and I'm ready for it.
Did he impress you the other night against? I'm sure you saw the fight against O'Sullivan.
Yeah, he did. He did what he had to do. I don't think O'Sullivan was what everyone thought he'd be, but Billy did what he had to do.
Frankie, just on Kell Brooks, is that a fight you'd like?
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't shy away from anyone in the division. If that fight's made, it's made. I've told Frank, get me anyone. I'm not the sort of person to pull out fights, hide away from fights. The Denton fight got made, the Witter fight got made. I just talk whatever I'm getting, and that's that. The fight's made. Once it's made, it's on.
If somebody said to me now, would you put Frankie Gavin in with Manny Pacquiao? I'd say yes. I really would go for that fight. You got nothing to lose. It's an absolute no-lose situation for Frank. And I'll tell you why I fancy the fight. I think Frankie's got a great boxing brain, and I think Manny Pacquiao is not the fighter he was. That's not, I think, there are times you make fights. He's had 16 fights at amateur. He's fought all the best in the world. So he's got great grounding, like all the guys here, like Joe, all had great grounding. But I just feel that if I could make that fight, I would do it in a heartbeat. And I think, and I've got to tell you so, he'll be there at the end of the fight.
What was the situation with Bradley Ski? Was that nothing dead in the water as well?
Well, I thought we agreed terms, but we didn't. So, and it's unfortunate because, again, that would have been a good fight. But anyway, Bradley didn't want the fight at the end of the day, turned it down.
Did you go any particular training plans for John? Any different preparation from usual?
No, obviously we were taking him serious in that, and I think we're flying out to a training camp abroad somewhere.
Yeah.
I think that's all getting sorted out this week. Well, as we speak, I think it's all getting sorted out. So, it's all something new, but it's, I'm moving along in my career now. I want the British title outright. Then I'll leave the rest to Frank, and when he thinks I'm ready to step on the world stage, then I'll take the step.
Same for you, John. Any special training camp or?
I have to speak to this man here. He's,
Colin, right?
he tells me what to do and I do it.
You've done all success there.
That's, you know, that's
That's
very
it.
stigma,
And,
yeah.
That's it. It's just what we're going to do, like we usually do.
It's funny when you look at. I can't say about Liam, but when you look at along the table, and I can't say about John either, but when you look, a few of the guys here, they all thought it was going to be a bit easy to start with, and they all had their little bit of indiscipline, and I think that's all changed. They're all focused now, all understand what this business is all about. It's serious, and you've got to be serious. Give it 100%, and you can get there, and you can really do well, secure your family's future. But I'm really pleased when I sort of seen the direction that and the focus that they're taking their careers, and I think that's what's so good about it. And even if somebody loses, it's not the end of the world. Dereck's shown that. Lots of fighters have been beaten and so forth. It's all about dedication and focus and being a man. If you lose a fight, you man up and you come back and you try harder.